Billions of light years from Earth, a young astronaut embarks on humanity's most ambitious mission, only to discover that her blood holds the key to our species' salvation. As ancient secrets locked within her DNA unravel, she must confront cosmic truths that will redefine everything we know about human origins. What she finds in the depths of space could save us all, or doom us forever. This is an epic journey through time, space, and evolution itself. Subscribe now to uncover the startling truth behind humanity's ultimate destiny. The starship Aurora glided silently through the velvet darkness of deep space, its sleek form reflecting the faint light of distant suns. Lieutenant Elena Vasquez floated near the observation deck, her reflection shimmering against the panoramic viewport that separated her from infinity. She had spent 3 years training for this moment, preparing to lead humanity's most daring expedition yet, a voyage to Proxima Centauri b, where strange energy signatures suggested the possibility of advanced extraterrestrial technology. But as she stared out at the endless void, something stirred deep within her cellular memory, though she couldn't quite grasp what it was. Elena's thoughts drifted back to Earth, to the countless hours spent studying ancient astronaut theories and examining peculiar artifacts discovered across various civilizations. There was something hauntingly familiar about those relics, particularly the intricate helix patterns carved into stone tablets thousands of years old. The symbols seemed to resonate with her on a fundamental level, triggering flashes of memories that couldn't possibly be hers. Her superiors had dismissed these connections as mere coincidence, but the patterns persisted in her mind like a subatomic code waiting to be deciphered. The ship's computer hummed softly in the background, analyzing data streams from their long-range sensors. As the artificial intelligence processed information about Proxima Centauri b's atmosphere and surface composition, Elena felt an inexplicable pull toward the planet. It wasn't just scientific curiosity driving her forward. There was an almost biological imperative urging her to uncover whatever secrets lay hidden beneath its crimson clouds. The sensation grew stronger with each passing day, until it became clear that this mission represented far more than just another step in human exploration. Proxima Centauri b loomed larger in the viewport with each passing hour, its swirling red and gold atmosphere hinting at violent storms raging across its surface. The ship's instruments detected unusual electromagnetic fluctuations emanating from specific coordinates, patterns too complex to be natural phenomena. As Elena studied the readouts, she noticed how certain frequency modulations matched the rhythm of her own heartbeat when she entered REM sleep. It was during those dreams that fragments of ancient knowledge would surface, pieces of a puzzle spanning millennia of human evolution. The archaeological database aboard Aurora contained records of similar anomalies found on Earth, mysterious structures aligned with celestial bodies, mathematical constants embedded in temple measurements, and genetic markers shared by seemingly unrelated ancient cultures. These findings had baffled scientists for generations, leading some to speculate about intervention by advanced extraterrestrial civilizations. Yet Elena's intuition told her the truth ran deeper, that these patterns pointed to something fundamentally connected to human DNA itself, perhaps even suggesting humanity's origin story needed rewriting. As the ship prepared to enter orbit, Elena reviewed her family's genetic history, which included traces of mitochondrial Eve, the common maternal ancestor of all living humans. But there were irregularities in her personal genome analysis that defied conventional understanding. Specific sequences seemed to repeat in prime number intervals, forming complex fractal patterns that shouldn't exist naturally. These genetic markers matched those found in ancient remains dating back hundreds of thousands of years, suggesting a direct lineage to something extraordinary buried in humanity's past. The descent module pierced Proxima Centauri b's turbulent atmosphere, buffeted by winds carrying charged particles that interfered with communication systems. Through the storm, Elena caught glimpses of massive geometric formations etched into the planet's surface, structures that appeared artificial yet impossibly ancient. Their architecture incorporated mathematical principles not officially discovered until centuries later on Earth, including aspects of quantum mechanics and multidimensional physics. Each formation pulsed with subtle bioluminescence that synchronized with the ship's landing approach, as if responding to their presence. Surface scans revealed organic compounds integrated into the structure's molecular matrix, suggesting they weren't merely buildings, but living organisms adapted to survive extreme conditions. The largest formation resembled a double helix spiraling upward, its crystalline towers refracting light in ways that created holographic projections of star charts and DNA sequences. These images flickered with increasing intensity as Elena approached, triggering involuntary muscle spasms that mirrored the convulsions documented in ancient shamanic rituals linked to genetic awakening experiences. Her neural interface began receiving data streams directly from the structures, bypassing conventional sensory input. Vast amounts of information flooded her consciousness, not in words or images, but as pure conceptual understanding. She perceived timelines branching and converging, saw how different evolutionary paths influenced genetic development across species and civilizations. Most shockingly, she recognized patterns within her own DNA sequence reflected in these cosmic blueprints, confirming her connection to whatever ancient intelligence had engineered these monumental creations. The alien structures responded to Elena's proximity by initiating a transformation process that defied known physical laws. Their crystalline surfaces rippled like liquid mercury, generating gravitational waves that resonated through her body at a cellular level. Within these oscillations, she detected encoded messages targeting specific DNA sequences present in minute quantities throughout human populations but concentrated exponentially in her genome. The activation triggered a cascade of epigenetic changes, causing dormant genes to express themselves in unprecedented ways. Her skin began emitting a soft luminescence as newly activated photoreceptors absorbed and processed information from the surrounding environment. Neural networks expanded beyond normal human capacity, allowing her to perceive multiple dimensions simultaneously. Time appeared as a fluid continuum rather than linear progression, while spatial relationships transformed into complex mathematical relationships she instinctively understood. Ancient memories surfaced, not her own, but those of her distant ancestors who had walked among stars long before humanity emerged. These revelations came with physical manifestations. Her cellular structure adapted to incorporate elements previously unknown to human biology, creating hybrid organelles capable of processing stellar radiation directly. Mitochondria evolved into quantum processors, enabling instantaneous communication between cells and enhancing metabolic efficiency by orders of magnitude. Chromosomes reorganized themselves into fractal patterns matching those found in the alien structures, suggesting a deliberate design rather than random mutation. Through her enhanced perception, Elena witnessed the true extent of humanity's genetic heritage unfolding like a cosmic tapestry woven from strands of DNA stretching across galaxies. The alien civilization responsible for these modifications hadn't merely visited Earth, they had seeded life itself, engineering primitive organisms to evolve along predetermined paths. Her genome contained proof of this intervention, quantum-entangled base pairs that maintained coherence over astronomical distances, linking her directly to their vast interstellar network. These ancient engineers possessed technology indistinguishable from magic by current human standards. They manipulated matter at fundamental levels, folding space-time to create artificial worlds where evolution could proceed under controlled conditions. Evidence suggested they had performed similar experiments across countless star systems, each tailored to produce unique expressions of consciousness. Humanity represented one such experiment, distinguished by its capacity for self-awareness and technological innovation. More disturbing was the realization that this genetic engineering extended far beyond physical attributes. Cognitive abilities, emotional responses, even cultural predispositions had been carefully calibrated through successive generations. Certain historical events that shaped human civilization might have been orchestrated to guide development along specific trajectories. Religious experiences, artistic inspiration, scientific breakthroughs, all potentially influenced by subtle genetic programming designed to unlock latent potential at precisely calculated moments in history. As Elena's consciousness expanded to encompass this cosmic perspective, she grasped the gravity of humanity's current predicament. Earth's ecosystems teetered on collapse, resources dwindled, and social structures strained under the weight of overpopulation and technological advancement. The very traits engineered into human DNA, adaptability, creativity, ambition, had led to their current crisis point. Paradoxically, the solution lay within the same genetic code that had created the problem, encoded in sequences awaiting activation under specific environmental pressures. The alien architects had anticipated this bottleneck, designing humanity's genome like a time-release capsule containing multiple evolutionary pathways. Some sequences remained dormant until triggered by particular combinations of stress factors, technological achievement thresholds, and social organization models. Others required external stimuli, exposure to certain frequencies of cosmic radiation, precise alignments of planetary bodies, or contact with other engineered species. Elena's presence on Proxima Centauri b represented one such trigger condition, activating genetic keys that would otherwise remain locked indefinitely. Through her enhanced neural interfaces, she accessed archives detailing previous civilizations that had reached similar crossroads. Many had failed to recognize their genetic potential in time, collapsing under the weight of their own success. Others had transcended physical limitations entirely, shedding biological forms to exist purely as patterns of information. The path humanity would take depended crucially on whether they could access and properly interpret the genetic instructions encoded within their DNA before reaching the point of no return. The alien repository revealed that humanity's genetic code contained multiple layers of information storage, each accessible through different cognitive states and environmental triggers. Elena's enhanced physiology allowed her to perceive these layers as overlapping matrices of potential, each representing possible evolutionary trajectories. Some paths led to physical adaptations enabling survival in extreme environments, while others focused on mental and spiritual development. The most promising routes combined both aspects, suggesting that true transcendence required balanced growth across all dimensions of existence. Particularly intriguing were sequences related to collective consciousness, neural networks designed to facilitate direct brain-to-brain communication and shared sensory experiences. These capabilities had lain dormant throughout human history, manifesting only occasionally in phenomena like mass hysteria or simultaneous invention by geographically separated individuals. Proper activation could revolutionize human society, eliminating barriers of language and culture while preserving individual identity within a greater whole. Other genetic keys affected perception of time and space, potentially granting abilities akin to precognition or teleportation. However, these required careful calibration to prevent catastrophic disruption of neurological function. The alien records warned of civilizations that had prematurely activated such abilities, resulting in societal breakdown as individuals lost anchor in consensus reality. Successful integration demanded gradual adaptation supported by appropriate technological and social frameworks. Through increasingly intense visions, Elena experienced firsthand the rise and fall of previous civilizations engineered by the same ancient intelligence. She witnessed lizard-like beings on a water world developing psychic abilities that eventually overwhelmed their neural capacity, reducing them to instinct-driven creatures. Elsewhere, crystalline entities evolved perfect logical minds but lost all capacity for emotional connection, leading to sterile societies devoid of innovation or passion. Each failure carried valuable lessons about balancing different aspects of consciousness and physicality. Most poignant were memories of a humanoid species remarkably similar to humans, who had achieved brief periods of enlightenment before succumbing to internal conflict. Their genetic programming emphasized individual achievement over collective well-being, creating brilliant artists and scientists but failing to develop stable social structures. When environmental pressures mounted, their inability to cooperate effectively led to rapid decline despite possessing technology far advanced beyond contemporary human capabilities. Conversely, successful transition showed common patterns: gradual integration of new abilities, strong emphasis on education and cultural transmission, and careful management of population growth relative to resource availability. Societies that thrived often developed symbiotic relationships with their environments, viewing themselves as integral parts of larger ecological systems rather than dominant species exploiting available resources. These insights underscored the importance of approaching genetic activation with wisdom and patience rather than rushing toward apparent solutions. Returning to Aurora's medical bay, Elena initiated comprehensive genomic analysis comparing her modified DNA with baseline human samples stored in the ship's database. The results confirmed profound alterations extending beyond simple gene expression changes. Entire chromosomes had reorganized themselves into novel configurations incorporating elements not previously documented in terrestrial biology. Quantum entanglement between nucleotide pairs created non-local connections spanning light years, linking her cellular structure to similar patterns detected across multiple star systems. These modifications manifested physically through enhanced sensory perception and increased resistance to radiation damage. Her eyes could now detect infrared and ultraviolet spectra, while specialized receptors in her skin registered variations in magnetic fields and atmospheric composition. Internal organs functioned with unprecedented efficiency, recycling nutrients and oxygen at rates that defied conventional biochemistry. Most significantly, her brain exhibited neural activity patterns never before recorded, suggesting emergence of entirely new cognitive functions still developing. Medical monitoring equipment struggled to keep pace with these transformations, frequently registering readings outside expected parameters. Cellular regeneration occurred at accelerated rates, healing minor injuries almost instantly while preventing accumulation of age-related damage. Metabolic processes generated minimal waste products, indicating near-perfect energy utilization. These changes positioned her as living proof of humanity's potential for radical evolution, provided other members of her species could safely undergo similar modifications. Analyzing the alien archive revealed that humanity's genetic code contained not only instructions for physical evolution but also encrypted data packets functioning like software updates for consciousness itself. These packages consisted of complex protein sequences that, when properly folded, generated patterns of neural activity corresponding to specific cognitive abilities. Some activated latent mathematical intuition, enabling instant calculation of multidimensional equations. Others unlocked intuitive understanding of quantum mechanics or ability to visualize abstract concepts in concrete terms. Most fascinating were sequences related to moral and ethical development. Rather than imposing fixed behavioral codes, these modifications enhanced capacity for empathy and long-term thinking while reducing tendencies toward destructive competition. They operated by strengthening neural connections between emotional centers and higher reasoning faculties, promoting integrated decision-making that balanced immediate needs with future consequences. This explained why certain historical figures had demonstrated remarkable wisdom and compassion despite surrounding cultures dominated by violence and short-sightedness. The archive also detailed mechanisms for transmitting these updates across generations without requiring direct physical modification. Environmental factors like specific sound frequencies, electromagnetic field patterns, or chemical catalysts could trigger activation in genetically predisposed individuals. Once expressed, these traits became inheritable through epigenetic markers, gradually spreading throughout populations exposed to appropriate conditions. This system allowed for controlled dissemination of evolutionary advantages without risking widespread instability from sudden change. Realizing the urgency of her situation, Elena began documenting every aspect of her transformation through extensive video logs and sensor recordings. She captured detailed accounts of physical changes, cognitive enhancements, and emotional responses to emerging abilities. Medical data included real-time monitoring of neural activity, hormonal fluctuations, and cellular modifications, providing unprecedented insight into the process of directed evolution. These records would prove invaluable for developing protocols to safely guide others through similar transformations. Simultaneously, she worked to decode additional layers of information embedded in the alien structures, discovering methods for replicating necessary environmental triggers using existing human technology. By combining traditional genetic engineering techniques with newly understood principles of quantum biology, she devised procedures for activating latent potential in unmodified humans. Crucially, these methods incorporated safeguards against overwhelming neurological systems or triggering unintended mutations, addressing concerns raised by previous civilizations' failures. The documentation extended beyond technical details to include personal reflections on adapting to enhanced capabilities. She described challenges of processing vast amounts of sensory data, learning to filter relevant information from background noise, and maintaining emotional balance while experiencing multiple timelines simultaneously. These insights would help others prepare psychologically for dramatic shifts in perception and understanding, reducing risk of psychological trauma associated with rapid evolutionary change. Contacting Earth required careful consideration of how to present discoveries that could fundamentally alter human understanding of their place in the universe. Elena crafted her transmission to gradually introduce concepts beginning with verifiable scientific data about Proxima Centauri B's alien structures and their interaction with human DNA. She included raw sensor readings, genetic analysis results, and visual documentation of her physical transformation, allowing Earth-based scientists to independently verify claims before proceeding to more controversial aspects. The message progressed to explain genetic engineering evidence and humanity's engineered origins, supporting assertions with mathematical proofs derived from universal constants embedded in DNA sequences. She presented this information as opportunity rather than threat, emphasizing potential benefits of accessing latent abilities over implications regarding loss of autonomy and evolutionary development. Only after establishing credibility through empirical data did she reveal full scope of alien civilization's influence and purpose behind humanity's creation. To ensure proper handling of sensitive information, Elena implemented multi-layered encryption protocols unlocking additional details based on recipients' demonstrated comprehension of preceding material. This approach prevented premature public disclosure while allowing qualified researchers to access complete records. She designated trusted institutions to serve as information custodians, providing them with guidelines for controlled dissemination and research protocols prioritizing safety and ethical considerations. Earth's response arrived after weeks of anxious waiting, carrying both expected skepticism and surprising acceptance. Scientific communities quickly verified physical evidence, leading to global initiatives aimed at understanding and harnessing humanity's genetic potential. Governments established international oversight committees to coordinate research efforts and prevent misuse of newfound knowledge. Educational programs adapted curricula to include concepts of directed evolution and cosmic heritage, preparing future generations to embrace their expanded capabilities responsibly. Public reaction proved more complex, with religious and philosophical debates erupting worldwide. Some viewed revelations as confirmation of ancient spiritual teachings, while others rejected evidence as challenge to human dignity and free will. Social media platforms buzzed with discussions about identity, purpose, and humanity's role in the universe. Despite initial turmoil, general consensus emerged that these discoveries represented opportunity rather than threat, provided implementation proceeded cautiously and inclusively. Scientific progress accelerated dramatically as researchers applied new understanding to fields ranging from medicine to space travel. Breakthroughs in quantum computing, clean energy production, and environmental restoration stemmed directly from decoded genetic information. Most significantly, programs developing safe methods for activating latent potential in wider populations gained international support, laying groundwork for humanity's next evolutionary leap while maintaining continuity with existing social structures. 6 months after initial contact, Earth launched follow-up missions to Proxima Centauri B, carrying teams equipped to study and interact with alien structures. These expeditions included specialists from diverse fields working together to document and understand mechanisms of genetic activation. Simultaneously, orbital platforms positioned around Earth began broadcasting frequency patterns designed to trigger safe activation of latent abilities in population segments showing genetic predisposition. Carefully monitored test groups demonstrated successful integration of new capabilities without adverse effects. International space agencies collaborated on constructing permanent research stations near alien installations, facilitating continuous study and development of activation protocols. Advanced AI systems processed vast amounts of data collected from both planets, identifying optimal conditions for evolutionary advancement while flagging potential risks. This cooperative effort marked a significant shift in human approach to scientific progress, emphasizing global unity and shared purpose over national competition. Back on Earth, cities transformed to accommodate emerging abilities, incorporating architectural features responsive to expanded human perception. Educational systems evolved to nurture new cognitive functions while preserving cultural diversity and individual creativity. Economic models adapted to post-scarcity realities enabled by technological breakthroughs stemming from genetic activation research. Though challenges remained, humanity demonstrated remarkable resilience and adaptability in embracing their cosmic heritage. Standing once again at Aurora's observation deck, Elena watched Earth rising above Proxima Centauri B's horizon, a reminder of how far humanity had come while facing infinite possibilities ahead. Her journey from lone astronaut to harbinger of species-wide transformation illustrated power of scientific curiosity combined with courage to confront uncomfortable truths. The alien structures continued sharing knowledge, revealing deeper layers of understanding about universe's fundamental nature and humanity's role within grand cosmic design. Future generations would inherit not only technological advancements but expanded awareness of their place among stars. Children born today would grow up perceiving multiple dimensions simultaneously, communicating through thought as easily as speech, and manipulating matter-energy relationships intuitively. Yet most importantly, they would carry forward essential human qualities: capacity for wonder, drive to explore unknown, and determination to overcome challenges together. As ships ferried more researchers between planets and activation protocols spread through population, Elena knew humanity's greatest test still lay ahead. Balancing individual freedom with collective responsibility, preserving cultural diversity while pursuing common goals, and maintaining connection to earthly roots while reaching for stars would require constant vigilance and wisdom. But looking at thriving colonies already establishing foothold among alien structures, she felt confident humanity would rise to meet these challenges, guided by ancient genetic programming and unwavering spirit of exploration that defined their species. If you enjoyed this cosmic journey exploring humanity's genetic destiny, don't forget to subscribe for more mind-expanding stories that challenge our understanding of existence itself.